Next, despite huge strides to wipe out polio around the world, the crippling virus still haunts a few places. One of them is Pakistan, where there have recently been a series of attacks on those trying to administer vaccines. Today, 2 people were killed and at least 12 injured after a bomb attack outside a government health center in a northwest province. Special correspondent Fred DeSam Lazaro has our report on the setbacks to eradicating the disease.
This slum in Karachi is one of the last places in the world where polio is still a threat. Pakistan had tens of thousands of cases just a decade ago and came close to wiping it out. Neighboring India, with similar or worse conditions like urban crowding and poor hygiene, was certified polio-free in 2012.
The fact that they've done it is what makes me think that we can do it. If you can put enough boots on the ground and do high-quality campaigns. Because if India can do it, Pakistan can do it.
But in Pakistan, Dr. Anita Zaidi says the polio campaign began to stall thanks to epic floods, political turmoil, and religious extremists who fought the polio campaign with guns and rumors. And there was one more unexpected setback.
We developed more information about the possibility that we had located bin Laden hiding within a compound deep inside Pakistan.
One part of that intelligence gathering was a fake vaccine campaign in the neighborhood around the al-Qaeda leader's compound, used to gather DNA samples.
Which has hugely damaged public health programs, not only in Pakistan but in many, many countries, because people ask all kinds of questions. They now think that the vaccine programs might be actually spy operations.
It's also helped revive a rumor long fueled by extremists that the polio campaign is a plot against Muslims. That lie frustrates businessman Aziz Maimon. He's with Rotary International, which has spent $1.2 billion and led the global polio effort.
They issued a ban on polio immunization, which is today also existing. These are the same people who at one time were rejecting it on the basis that it is going to make their child infertile.
So the vaccination campaign recently enlisted prominent mainline religious leaders.
So the Council of Islamic Ideology now has a very active program, and there's a declaration that says that the polio vaccine is effective, that it's not harmful, and it's allowed by Islam, and the Muslim children can have it.
Muhammad Hanif Tayyab helped author the document, which is being distributed to mosques across Pakistan.
They will go and explain to the people, look, in the rest of the Muslim world, in Iran, in Saudi Arabia, this crippling curse has been eradicated. Why is it we cannot eradicate it from our country?
The declaration of fatwa by top leaders has enabled local imams like Bilal Ahmad to tell his congregants, most of them not literate, that the vaccine is not haram or anti-Islamic.
People come to me and ask if it is haram, and I say, you've been taking English medicines all your life and none of them are haram, so why would this one be?
Such reassurances haven't made life any safer for vaccinators. At least 22 have been gunned down in the past year or so.
They love to target them, not just because of polio, but because touching a polio worker makes a news. They know that. And I'll give you one example.
You mean they're after the publicity?
Yes, sir. They're after the publicity.
Who exactly is after the publicity, and what publicity do they want?
These Taliban groups. So, this becomes quite an international news also.
In Karachi, workers we spoke to, paid about $5 a day, said they were undeterred.
The security situation is tough all over the country, but this is something we have to do for the children.
This disease cripples children, not just for a day, but for their entire lives, and it affects the whole family.
This is important. As women health workers, it is our job to help kids. Polio teams are being attacked, but this is something we have to do.
They fanned out on this day across city neighborhoods, accompanied by armed policemen, though their presence hasn't stopped some attacks.
Difficult as it is for vaccinators to work in the cities, it's becoming virtually impossible in the north and northwest of this country, near the Afghan border. Extremist militant leaders there have declared the polio campaign off limits.
So for now, the campaign has targeted buses to and from the no-go regions. Dr. Zaidi says this will at best contain polio, not wipe it out. To do that, she says, Pakistan's military will need to take on the militants to allow vaccinators safe access.
If you look at the number one problem of Pakistan right now is terrorism. I mean, polio is just a byproduct of this issue right now. The central issue is fighting terrorism. And if you address the security situation, the polio problem will automatically be addressed.
But there's one more complication. We saw it in the slum, a seeming public indifference. Even as they urged parents to bring children out to get the vaccine drops, even as people in this community introduced us to polio victims who live here, it's clear many residents had other priorities.
Vaccinators say they got a little bit of resistance to the polio campaign, but they mostly got complaints. It's about to rain and the shelters are flimsy. There's no clean drinking water. There's no sanitation. There are no schools. For millions of Pakistanis who live in conditions like these, polio is hardly the most pressing concern.
Some health professionals and political leaders also feel Pakistan has more pressing problems. After all, education, clean water, and sanitation would remove conditions that spread the polio virus. But those are long-term solutions. Polio campaigners say simply getting drops to all children could wipe out the scourge much sooner and remove the stigma Pakistan endures internationally as one of the few exporters of the virus. But that would require resources and action, and no one is certain Pakistan's government will make polio a top priority anytime soon.
A version of Fred's story aired on the PBS program Religion and Ethics News Weekly. His reporting is a partnership with the Undertold Stories Project at St. Mary's University in Minnesota.